What's up, guys? Welcome back to Studio 44 and our show Underdogz. Extremely excited today because I have one of our great friends in the studio, and I cannot wait for you to hear her underdog story. So today, welcome Jamie Tardif.
Hey, thank you.
Jamie, I am so excited you're on the show today. We're gonna go all the way back to the beginning. Okay, some people would say it was a Wednesday. So we're going to go way back. I want to know, where were you born?
I was actually born in Warren, Pennsylvania. Tiny little town on the western, northern side of Pennsylvania, snow country. No one really knows where it's at, so it's kind of near Erie, Pennsylvania.
And that's all right, because that was my next question. I was like, where in the world is that?
No one knows.
Gotcha. No one does.
No one does.
No one does. Even people that live there, they're just...
Yeah, they're just like, where are we? We don't know.
They're just from there. And then tell me a little bit about growing up. Like, what was your childhood like? Let's go like elementary school age. Like, what was life like?
Well, being in a very small town, you kind of know everybody. I had a great childhood. Like, my mom stayed home. She was a stay-at-home mom. My dad was the sole bread winner, I guess you would say. But their goal was always, the kids are never going to be alone, right? So any event we were at, anything like that, our parents were there. They're always very loving and supportive. Elementary school was, elementary school. I was the tallest kid in school. So all the pictures were just me, like, super tall and lanky, which you can't believe now, but I was tall, big knobby knees, whole 9 yards. But
that's awesome. So a lot of times when we talk about our childhood, we always talk about how awkward we were and how we never thought, like, if you knew what today held. Looking back, you'd be like, it's all right. We're not always going to have knobby knees. It's going to work out.
It's fine.
Now, tall, yes.
Yeah.
Tall is still tall.
Yeah.
But so were you into any sports, or what did you do in elementary, middle school?
I played softball, T-ball up to softball. I was a Girl Scout, probably up until juniors of Girl Scouts, so all the way through middle school. But just really like to be outdoors. My family was always outdoors, hiking and camping, that sort of thing, that's where our happy place is now, is outside. But I would just remember, like, my parents would just be like, okay, we're setting up camp. And me and my brother would run out to the creek and catch crawfish all day until literally the park ranger would have to come and be like, hey, your parents are looking for you.
That's so awesome. Now, being a Girl Scout, like, ignorance says, oh, they sell those cookies. What do Girl Scouts do? Like, is it similar to Boy Scouts in the way people would remember, or?
It really depended on what troop you were in. There were some troops that I was in that was like, we're going to braid each other's hair and make friendship bracelets, like, whole 9 yards. I was one of the ones where, like, we went camping and hiking and that sort. So it really depended on who your troop leader was. But same thing, like, we learned how to do, like, rough backpacking up in, like, the mountains and that sort of stuff. Like, that's where my, like, education of, like, knots and things like that actually came from. And my little brother's actually a Boy Scout, and my mom was a den mother, so I actually also got to do Boy Scouts. So, and he's going to kill me for saying this, but my brother also did Girl Scouts.
What?
Because my mom was a troop leader.
Okay.
So
we
were just always together. So.
That's awesome. You both got to learn a little bit of everything.
Yeah. We went to Girl Scout camp for the summer, and I hung out with the boys at Boy Scout camp. That's how we grew up. Super close.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So there's many times when I would think about Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts. My dad was a Boy Scout, and I remember, like, that man can tie a knot.
Yeah.
Okay, like, I didn't realize that they taught you so many things that you would use and utilize when you're hiking, camping, fishing, just tying the boat off, for instance. Like, there's certain knots that are perfect for those situations, and it's not all, like, crossover, bunny loop, go around the thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's an actual, there's a rhyme and a reason to it. So I love hearing that. What was your favorite memory of those times?
Just camping. Literally just all camping.
Was there ever any scary stories or, like, close calls, or was it just super safe camping?
No. So we would always be out exploring, just me and my little brother, just being feral children out in the woods. And one year I had a street bike instead of, like, a mountain bike. So, you know, the really skinny tires. And we were out, and I was hauling butt down the road, and apparently I hit a branch, and you can't hit a branch on a street bike.
Mm.
And I went ass over and literally just scraped my whole knee up, my whole leg, just one big scab. My mom's like in the camper, and I'm screaming, and she's like trying to make it to where I stop bleeding. So there's trauma from that.
I mean, that's what moms do.
Yeah.
Moms are really good at stopping the bleeding.
Stopping the bleeding.
Yeah.
Really, that was her goal as we were camping. Just stop the bleeding.
Yes. So let's move on to high school. Okay. What was high school like for you?
I wasn't one of the popular kids at all. I was in drill team, FFA, really into graphic arts. So kind of like in the middle of the pack, you would kind of say. Like, I knew people, but wasn't one of the like real popular kids. But pretty much drill team sucked up my entire life. So, you know, practice every morning, you know, football every Friday, that sort of stuff. And I absolutely loved it. So when people are always like, you know, band camp this and band camp that, I was like, I did that, but I was in drill. So completely different.
Not the American Pie version, by the way.
No.
Totally. Yeah. That's awesome. So I had friends in FFA,
Mm-hmm.
and I always got them confused because, like, my daughter does 4-H,
Yeah.
and then FFA,
Yes.
and like I guess y'all are rivals. I didn't.
Kind of. I was in both.
Oh,
So
my bad. So you had the at-home
I was
portion.
a traitor, right?
Okay, all right.
I
So-
wore my 4-H shirt under my blue jacket, which actually worked in my favor one year because the FFA group, they went to nationals for land judging. Stay with me.
I'm with you.
It's it's a whole thing. But our 4-H group didn't, or my FFA group didn't. But because they saw me take off my jacket and had the 4-H emblem, I was able to go to Oklahoma and judge land in Oklahoma City. That was a whole thing on its own. We get off the plane, there's tornado warnings. They're like, this is the hole in the middle of the field. Like, if there's a tornado, we're all going to get in this hole. And I'm like, where are we?
Yeah.
Why are we doing this?
Welcome to Oklahoma.
Welcome to Oklahoma in like the scariest way possible. But that was just like one of those things, like circumstance, you know, puts you in a different place. But I absolutely loved FFA. I actually did the speaking part of it, which you can't tell now, but they would be like, okay, you have an hour to research this topic. Here are your books. Now you have to go speak on it. And we went into nationals doing that. And, you know, I never did the large livestock. I always raised bunnies and trained dogs and, you know, little things like that because we didn't have land for cows and pigs and things.
Gotcha. Now, what is land judging? What do you judge about the land?
It's literally the quality of the dirt. Is this going to be good for growing this crop? Is it good for this crop? You like learn the nitrogen levels. It was the whole thing. And to be honest, I wasn't good at it. They needed a person.
Yeah.
Another FFA or 4-H member. They're like, this one, she did it. She's got the shirt. She's in 4-H.
She has the shirt.
She has the shirt. I got there. I was like, I do not belong here at all.
Well, you get to go back to digging in the dirt. That's fun.
Yeah, like I was back in dirt, so it was fine.
So after high school, what did life look like at that point?
So I went to college. I went to Lake Summer for graphic arts. Actually, my entire time in high school, I was in graphic arts with Mr. Natalino, Lake We're High. And he really set us up. Like, if you paid attention to his class and you did what you were supposed to do, every elective for my 4 years, I was in graphic arts. And so I went to college for graphic arts. In my first class in college, it's like, we're going to make a red square and we're going to put it up on this. I'm like, I'm out. Like, there's no way I can't do this. So I actually went to my teacher and I was like, I'm already like doing this in the real world. I'm already a creative director. Like, I'm right out of high school. I already had jobs as graphic design. And so I was like doing online learning before it was a thing. She goes, okay, well, just complete the project and then email it to me. Done. So I did that. So I worked full time while I was in school. It took me an unnecessarily long time to get my 2-year. It took me 5 years to get my 2-year degree because math isn't mathing. I can't do it. It doesn't make any sense.
It happens.
At all. So,
Math happens.
Math happens.
Yeah.
And my last teacher, I guess, was like, you're not going to be like a nurse or a doctor, right? And I was like, no, God, no. I just need this class to graduate. And I got a C. He basically felt pity.
That's so awesome. They're totally thinking, okay, as long as she can convert pixels on Adobe Illustrator from pixels to inches.
Like she's good.
And then she knows how to copy and paste. Okay, she's good. Let's
she's
keep
like, he was so concerned. He's like, you're not going to be a nurse or a doctor, right? Like, you're not saving lives. I was like, no, I don't need any of this.
I love the honesty.
Yeah.
Like most people would sugarcoat it. They'd be like, you make such a great nurse. You have such a good demeanor and blah, blah, blah. And then it's like, oh, but the math.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, there's no way. I didn't even take languages in high school because it just doesn't work in my brain.
Gotcha. Listen, everybody can't do everything. I get it. So what were you so passionate about when it came to graphic design?
Well, growing up, so as a kid, I wanted to be a naturalist, whatever, teaching kids about nature and kind of a park ranger situation. When we moved to Florida, that kind of, I was like, ooh, everything here wants to kill you, right? Snakes, spiders, whole 9 yards. And it's so hot. So I was like, I'm not. I don't want to do this anymore. So I always had a very creative bug. I always wanted to do art and things like that. And that's how I was raised too. Like my parents were always like, you're not going to be like a TV kid. You're going to create things and be inventive and imagination. So I was into art, all kinds of things. And then in 8th grade, on your plan to high school, we're going to make you do all these electives in 8th grade. So you know what your plan's going to be. And they kind of were like, okay, here's art. And then here's graphic arts. And they shoved me in there. And I was like, I don't know. I don't want to do this. I fell madly in love. That was where it was at. Just because it's completely, totally limitless. As long as you have your computer and your software, you can literally make anything. And I think that's where the disconnect is. People think, oh, we can teach you creativity. You can't teach creativity. You can teach you how to use the tools and applications to harness your creativity.
That's good.
But you can't teach it. You have to know it. You have to feel it. You have to know the process in yourself for that creativity. And once I figured that out, it was endgame. It was everything to me. I love everything that has to do with branding and design and, graphic arts. So
now I find it interesting because many of us have, in the beginning, especially out of college, we have normal jobs. Okay. Now you as an entrepreneur, having a normal job is almost like a death sentence. It's like
very uncomfortable. I had multiple regular jobs.
So all those regular jobs, and we don't have to get into all of them, but tell me about the difference between regular jobs and now being an entrepreneur for yourself. What challenges and what freedoms come with that? So
basically, when I worked at Starbucks for 3 years, I was doing design work, and then I was also working part-time and going to college. So it was a whole thing. And I worked at Best Buy for a couple of years, and it's just really the constraints. You have to be here from 8 to 4, everything else like that. It locked my brain down to a point where I was like, this is not where I'm happy. This is not where I can feel myself striving. If I want to not do anything or go to the beach today or, work on something inside myself for the day, I can't because I'm on a schedule. So I would always I'd be calling out. I would call out all the time. And honestly,
mental health days.
For me, it was a lot because I was like, I can't handle this. And it came down to the fact of I was just not happy having to be on a schedule. So, and being a business owner and entrepreneur, you're able to make your own schedule. As long as my clients are happy and my work is done and everything else, I have the freedom to be able to do what I want to do when I want to do it. And to me, that's priceless. That is my definition of success, is not having to clock in and clock out.
That's really, really good. Was there a single item or was it a series of events that shifted that was just I will not do this anymore. I will not work 9 to 5. I will not work 8 to 4. I will not be on someone else's time clock. Was there something that just put you over the edge, or was it just an epiphany?
It was asking for time off.
Okay. Tell me.
To enjoy my life. That was it. I can not understand the concept, and this is going to be, people are going to lose their crap over this, but I cannot grasp the concept of working all year long for 5 days off.
Say it again for the people in the back.
It makes no sense to me at all that people are totally okay with working Monday through Friday, sometimes 7 days a week, whatever, to get 5 days off a year. You only have so many years and so many weeks and so many days, and I think people really need to step out of their comfort zone and try to live their dreams and their passions so they can actually live their life. Because if not, you're building somebody else's life. You're building somebody else's dream. And for me, I was like, no, we're not doing this.
That's really good. It makes me think of the rebuttals that we get as entrepreneurs, because at the same time, sometimes we need employees.
Yeah.
Sometimes we need people that are willing to work for us and help us build our dreams. So the issue or the barricade that gets in between us are we don't want to limit people either.
Yeah.
So how have you found the people that you've either interviewed or brought on? How do you offer them incentive or a feeling of ownership without having the stress of being an owner?
Yeah, so everyone has a flexible work schedule. You can work from home. You can work in the office. I don't care what you do. Just get the work done. If you want to work in a park, do that. Do whatever is going to make you the most successful in your current job, in your current career, and in your current position. I've never been one to be like, oh, you have to be here from 9 to 5. Like, no, people are not creative in a construct like that. They might be more creative working on the recliner in their living room. I might get better work out of them than working from home, from the recliner, from a park, next to a fire. I don't care where you work. I don't care how long it takes you. I don't just get it done and make sure it's right the first time. I do kind of higher expectations on that level, because if I'm giving you the freedom to work where you want, when you want, I expect high quality back.
Of course.
So,
especially when you have a business that has either certain deadlines or certain expectations. I've always said that if you put the rules of the game out there, if everybody knows the rules, neither one can get mad. You're not going to be wrong. You're not going to offend somebody. You're just going to know what the deal is.
Yeah.
And when it comes to, I wish there was a different word, but for an employee, because they're not technically partners, but I have always loved giving people that feeling of ownership. You know, I want them to really own their work, be proud of their work, and also, I'm not going to say 100% of the time, but I also want them to have an exit plan with me.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to bind people down for the rest of their lives. It's very, very hard to hire an entrepreneur because they have the same drive, the same passions as we do. They may just not be at that point in their life. They may not have the funding. They may not have the equipment around them to do what they really aspire to do.
Yeah, if you're restarting. And that's totally fine as well. Is if you're in the middle of a restart phase, I want to be there to help you restart. You know what I mean? We're all trying to live our dreams and our passions. So if I can help somebody, by having them as, and I do kind of consider them more partners over employees, because we're all working together. Like, we're one big team. We're all working on the projects together. We're all doing the communications together. But if we can sit down and have dinner together, and I go, okay, what are your goals? What are your plans? Where do you see yourself next year? And I can help them to get there. I'm all for it. Let's do this. Like, okay, how can what we're doing right now help elevate you next year? And I think that's what makes us a little different, is that, great, you want to be here forever. Fantastic. I love that. But what do you actually want to do?
Yeah.
What is your actual dream?
That's really, really good.
This year. Like, what are your goals? Because your goals might not be working for us.
Yeah.
I get that. That's not everyone's dream.
So it's interesting to know that you share that same heart, that the people that are putting in the hours, you're obviously paying them well. They're producing extremely high content, which is not only refreshing as a business owner to know that if you put a task out there, you're getting a great quality product back. At the same time, knowing that you're really pouring into either an individual or a family. A lot of the people that you employ could be the sole breadwinner of their house, and knowing that they have that level of opportunity for advancement and that you actually care about their goals and dreams. Who else? Name one big company that actually does that, that you're not just a number. So love hearing that part. So what do you do now for fun?
For fun, well, when it's cool, I'll be outside. I'm always like, I'm with the trees. That's what makes me the happiest. We'll be out camping, hiking, with the dogs, that sort of stuff. And if not, I'm literally sitting on the patio outside next to my fire pit. And sometimes I'll sit out there and work there too. Like today, this is my weather today.
Yeah, this is absolutely perfect day.
This is my weather today.
Yeah.
And I'll be by the fire all night.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So if you could go anywhere in the world, travel any destination, where would you go?
That's a long list.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It doesn't have to be the best. It just has to be one. Just one place that you haven't been to yet that you'd really love to see. Alaska. And
I really want to hike in Alaska.
Okay. And then why? Why Alaska?
Because it's just different. It's just massive. Just so massive. And the terrain is different. The animals are different. Like, just everything is just fantastic.
I'd be afraid of grizzly bears.
I mean, yeah, but the goal is to not run into a grizzly bear.
That's true.
The goal is not to hunt them out.
That's
true. A grizzly bear. No, that's not the goal. It's like, oh, it's a grizzly bear. I'll step back.
Favorite food?
Ooh, soft pretzels.
From where?
Anywhere.
That's good. That's good.
Literally anywhere. I love
Great answer.
Like,
Great answer.
I will try them at any place. But give me a soft pretzel.
Now, I know you love Buc-ee's.
Yeah.
So I have the inside track to that. But what is your favorite thing to get from Buc-ee's?
The cinnamon pecans, the fudge, and the cookie dough bites.
Yeah, the cookie dough bites.
I'll get a couple cups of those every time we go.
Mm.
I'm definitely not one that skims on the sweets.
Yeah, we're going to give a 5-second silence for cookie dough bites. Yeah.
Yeah, they're the best.
Yeah.
They even have now like sugar pecans.
You can almost taste them.
So
yeah, they are good. Shout out to Buc-ee's. Not a sponsor, but they should be.
Should be.
They are coming to our hometown in 2025. Are you excited?
It's so dangerous. I'm so scared. They're going to be so close. I need that buffer. I need that like hour and 10-minute buffer.
They have so many cashiers.
So many. Like,
I've waited. Well, I will say I've waited in a line at Buc-ee's at the cashier only. I've never waited for a restroom. Everything else is grab and go, so it's available. The waiting in a line, no more than 2 minutes.
No, and it kills me to have a shopping cart. So you're you're screwed the moment you get in there because you grab the cart.
I actually did not know they had shopping carts.
No.
So you have uncovered.
So it's like no longer like what you can hold in your hands like a normal gas station. It's just like shoveling things into a shopping cart.
First time Buc-ee's people don't know that. So they're going into it blind like a normal like convenience store. I would love to know if Buc-ee's sees this video. I would love to know, what do you call your place of business? Like, I get that it's called Buc-ee's, but it's not a convenience store. What do you guys call it? Yeah, I saw 20 ice machines. I saw 12 paper towel rolls. There's so many flavors.
Yeah,
it's everywhere.
Literally heaven in a gas station.
Yeah.
The home section is just amazing.
Yeah.
You can just when it gets close, everyone's Christmas gift is going to come from Buc-ee's.
My dad literally went to Buc-ee's for the first time 3 weeks ago, and last week he already made his second trip. So if that says anything, he drove an hour out of the way, was heading to DeLand, went to Daytona first to get a pork sandwich because he liked it that much.
As you should.
And then his fiance loves the pecans, so she got 2 bags because you can't have enough.
No.
So I'm excited for Buc-ee's to come here, and I know our city is growing. What is one thing that you would say to an entrepreneur or maybe a college student that really has it on their heart that they want to start their own brand, their own business? What is step number 1 for making that pivot between working for someone else and deciding to go all in on yourself?
Get over the fear immediately. If it's meant to be in your life, it's going to happen. I know that's so cliche and Disney, but you just have to be ready to sweat and tears and cry your way through it. I cry a lot. I'm going to be honest.
Okay.
I cry a lot. But if you're going into the creative industry, you need thick skin immediately. Like, you better just grow some scales because it's rough. You can work on something for weeks and be like, it's beautiful, it's the best thing ever. And a client will be like, this is trash. And you're like, oh God, why? So, and that is one thing is we see newer people coming into the industry and they take everything to heart. And I'm like, well, that's adorable. But it's not about you and your preference. It's what the client wants. And there are some clients that'll be like, ooh, no, that's not a good look.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is why you're bringing us on. You know, you're paying us to help you with your brand and your image and things like that. So I'm letting you know right now, no.
Yeah.
That's not. It's not going to be a long-term success for that branding. So you have to be able to have the really hard conversations. You have to have the thick skin. You have to have the patience, and really just the will. That's really the thing is you're going to have so many failures. Nobody really talks about the failures, but you have to be willing to accept the failures and learn from them, and then move forward. So we're always learning, and we still have failures.
That's really, really good.
So,
really, really good. Now, the Ocala Design Group is your company.
yes.
That is your main brand. What is your favorite part? And we're going to end with this. What is your favorite part about the brand that you're building now?
Getting to help people and literally being able to help them grow their dreams. That's my favorite part. People come in with an idea and they'll be like, I want to do this, but I don't know where to start. And we'll be like, all right, let's see if your domain's available. Let's get your logo going. Let's get business cards done. What does your life look like in the next 3 to 5 years? Is it solely based on this business? Is this a side hustle for you? What's the goal here? And then from there, we literally build them an entire brand. So from scratch to everything that they could possibly need. We've had companies that start from teeny tiny, like just right out of the garage, and other $1 million companies. And to be a part of that is just like the best feeling ever. Like, I think that's the win of all wins, is being able to be a part of people's dreams and their wishes and their goals.
Enough said. Jamie, thank you so much for coming on Underdogz today. I hope you have a great day. For you guys that are watching, make sure to check out the Ocala Design Group. And we just want you to remember that love wins, period.
Yep. Got it.